بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. سبحانك اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. والكامل لله في ذاته وفي صفته وناقص الذات لم يكن له عمل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Inshallah, today we are going to start a new chapter in this book, البداية في فقه العبادة. The chapter we are starting is التيمم. التيمم, which is a dry ablution, and it's a form of Islamic or spiritual cleaning that we do when we do not have access to water. Normally at Tayammum, when we see at Tayammum, it means al-qasd, like intending towards something, intending to do something. So this is the actual meaning. So the word is taken in order to refer to intention towards using the surface of a soil. He starts by opening with this verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah. قال تعالى وإن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا سعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه. If you found yourself in a situation that you are sick, or you are a traveler, or somebody come from a bathroom, or it happens that someone has an intercourse with their family, in all these cases, we are not supposed to perform any act of ibadat without getting cleaned. And we generally use water to clean ourselves. But فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً, if it happens that we do not get the water, then there is a second alternative, or there is an alternative, which is فَتَيَمَّمُوا سَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. You need to intend, you need to go to a place that is sa'idan, that is the surface of the soil, al-tayyiba, which is clean, which is tahir. When you go there, what are you supposed to do? فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ. You're going to rub it on your face, وَأَيْدِيكُمْ, on your hands, meaning from that one. So he starts by this verse to give us a clear indication as why Allah has asked us to do this dry ablution or tayammum is when we do not have water to use for normal cleaning. We also bring a hadith where he said, وَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم إِنَّ السَّعِيدَ الطَّيِّبَ طَهُورُ الْمُسْلِمِ. A clean earth surface, طَهُورُ الْمُسْلِمِ, is a place that a Muslim can use for cleaning himself, وَإِن لَمْ يَجِدِ الْمَاءَ, even if you do not get water, عشر سنين, even in 10 years. So this عشر سنين, it does not actually mean 10 years. It's just telling you if you don't get water, no matter how long. So the fact that it's specified by this, it doesn't mean after 10 years, if you don't get water and you cannot use the surface of the earth. No, that is not what it means. It just means so long we do not find water, we can use the surface of the soil. So these are some reasons or some backings that he tried to bring in order to make sure to make us comfortable that we have rulings and backing according to the saying of Allah and Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam of performing this act of ibadah, which is at-tayammum. Mata yushra'u tayammum. When can we perform tayammum? When are we supposed to do it? He said, at-tayammum, dry ablution or dry cleaning, badalun, is a replacement min al-wudu'i, of ablution. It's a replacement, we do it in place of ablution. وَالْغُسْلِ, and even bathing, spiritual bathing. So it's just telling us that if we cannot do this, al-wudu wal-ghusl, then we have another option, which is at-tayammum. وَيُشْرَعُ عِنْدَ الْعَاجِزِ, and it is permitted. When is it permitted? عِنْدَ الْعَاجِزِ عَنِ اسْتِعْمَالِ الْمَاءِ, whenever there is an excuse, whenever there is a failure, whenever there is an inability to use water. You can have an excuse or an inability, because these are two different things. I may have an excuse not to use something, but I may have the ability. Or sometimes I can have the excuse and the inability at the same time. Or sometimes I may not have an excuse, but I don't have the ability. So these are two cases. So either an excuse or an inability to use water. وَذَلِكَ فِي حَالَتَيْنِ, and these cases happened in two cases generally. The first one, عند انعدام الماء, during the lack of water. This is the first case. Like the water is not there, we cannot find it. We try as much as we can. على طاقتنا بقدرتنا باستطاعتنا, we cannot find, as like to the best of our ability, we cannot find water. So this is عند انعدام الماء, if like in the case of lack of water or unavailability of water. سواء, it's all the same. في الحضر, either you are living in your country, or you are at home, you are in your city, أو السفر, or you are a traveler. So there is no distinction in this case. The question is, do we have water? Yes. Do we have water? No. It doesn't matter what case. Am I a traveler? It doesn't matter. Am I living in my country? It doesn't matter. So there is no differentiation in this case based on the place a person lives. So it's just unavailability of water. That is the first case. And the second, عند تعذر استعمال الماء, when there is an excuse of not using water. The water is there, but there is an excuse of not using the water. What are sort of these excuses? لمرض في الجسم, because of some sickness in the body. Maybe you are injured, or maybe there is a particular medical condition that if you touch water, it can lead to a problem, either a delay in cure, or it will even worsen the situation. So in this case, we have the water, but there is what? An excuse. So we are unable to use the water, even though it's there. أو خوف زيادة المرض, or you are scared that it will add more pain to the illness. Somebody is ill, and when they uses water, it's going to add more pain. So in this case, then there is an excuse of not using water. أو تأخير البرء, or a delay in healing. According to doctor's recommendation, for instance, this injury or this disease could be cured in 1 month. But if you're using water, it could be cured in 3 months. So we have ta'khir al-bari in this case. We have delay in healing. So in that case, when you come to do ablution, even if you have water, then you have an excuse not to use water, but to use a tayammum. أو شدة البرد, or extreme cold. Extreme cold. And in this case of extreme cold, it's when you do not have the ability to warm the water. Because and we read in the first chapter that al-ma'u sakhin, you can use hot water for ablution or warm water. So if you have the ability to warm the water, then you should. If you can't, and there is shiddatul bard, even though in this case also there's another exception, like what will happen as a result of using water in an extreme cold? Will you get hot? Is it just because it's cold? Maybe it's just cold, but I can use it. So here there is istidar, I can use it. But yes, it's extremely cold, but if I use it, there is unexpected consequences. Then now there is a problem. So these are two cases. In an extreme cold, if you can use it, but you just feel cold, okay? You just feel cold, but you should use it. But if you can use it, but it will lead to a particular consequences which may harm you in one case or another, then you don't need to use it. You can perform a tayammum. So generally, we can perform a tayammum in two cases. Number one, if we lack water. Number two, if we cannot use the water as a result of primarily medical condition or something that will cause harm to our health. Because according to Islamic standard, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, like we are not allowed to harm ourselves. Our body has responsibility on us, so we are not allowed to hurt it. So if it will lead to that hurt, then we should avoid it. So this is when we can perform at dry cleaning. ما هو السعيد الذي يجوز التيمم به? What is the place that we can use for dry cleaning? Like what type of surface, what type of objects can we use? فالسعيد, generally the meaning of السعيد, surface, هو وجه الأرض, is the surface of the earth. هو وجه الأرض is the surface of the earth. ترابا كان, is it a soil? That's the first thing. The surface of earth, this is a sa'id, which has these components. First, a soil, أو غيره, or something other than soil, but it's on the surface of earth. Even in this case, فيجوز التيمم, it's permissible for us to do dry cleaning بما كان, بما, with anything, with everything كان على وجه الأرض, that is on the surface of the earth, من التراب, from the soil itself, أو الحصباء, or gravels, the pebbles, we can use them as well, أو الجبل, or even rocks. If you have a rock, you can use it. أو الرمل, or sand. So in this case, like they say, a turab, the soil, it's the main component. It's made up of the sand and many minerals with water, which consists of the clay, the loamy, and many of those types of soils. And then al-hasba are the gravels or the pebbles that you usually find, that usually see they use in construction, sometimes those small ones, or you find them by the side of a beach, you see them at the side. So these are the gravels. Awil jabal, or a big rock, awil ram, or a sand that they usually use in building, which is mainly made up of small particles and minerals. So all these ones can be used. So generally anything that is related to the soil or surface of the soil. So these are the things that we can use, or these are the objects. Even though in this there are two views, this is one view of the scholars. The other view is that we can only use the turab, but it's not one of the most acceptable ones. The most acceptable one is anything that is the surface of the soil, as have been mentioned in this case. الكيفية الصحيحة للتيمم, the most verified manner, or the verified form, or the most acceptable form of dry cleaning. The first step, ينوي المسلم رفعا للحدث. A Muslim will intend to take away al-hadath, that's any form of impurity that prevents ibadat. Akbar kana or askar, is it a big one or small one? We know that akbar al-hadath is the one that we must perform bath, we must perform ghusl, and askar is the one that can be taken away by wudu, ablution. ومحلها, as usual, al-qalb, the place for niyyat is al-qalb, is in the heart. We do not use our tongue for it. This is the first step, and niyyah. Second, يقول Bismillah, and a person will say Bismillah in the name of Allah. Third step, يضرب على الأرض باليدين ضربة واحدة. Then you will place your hand, you will rub the hand on the surface, it depends on the surface we are using, either gravel or soil or sand or rock, whatever surface we are using. We will place our hand and then ضربة واحدة, one time. ثم ينفخ, after we do that, ثم ينفخ في اليدين, and then you blow air through the hand. We do that. Why do we do that? ليسقط ما تعلق بهما, in order to remove what is suspended on the surface of the hand. Anything that is suspended that can harm your face or your hand, then when we do that, we will remove it. After that, يمسح بهما وجهه. We will rub these hands on our face with the face طولا, the length, which starts from منبت الشعر, from the في العادة, the normal place or the normal region where our hair starts, hair until the end of our what do we call this? The English.
The beard.
Yeah, the beard. Yeah, the chin. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So to the end of the chin. So we wash it. We wash it. وأرضا, and the breath, which is from air to air. So we wash it completely. We wash it completely. So we start with the face. Then the sixth step, وَيَمْسَحُ الْيَدَيْنِ, and then we will rub your hand إِلَى الرُّسْغَيْنِ, to the wrist region. دُونَ أَن يَتَجَاوَزَ إِلَى الذِّرَاعِ, without the need to go further to the elbow. Without the need to go further there. So it's just إِلَى الرُّسْغ. It stops at the wrist. وَهَذَا, he said, this format, تَمَامُ التَّيَمُّمِ, is the best form of dry cleaning, بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, with the permission of Allah. Why? لِقَوْلِ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم, because of the saying of Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم لعمار بن ياسر, to Ammar bin Yasir, حِينَمَا أَسَاءَ التَّيَمُّمِ, when he did a tayammum wrongly. Because if you could remember in the hadith of Ammar bin Yasir, he had a dream and he was thinking, okay, now there is no water, and ولم تجد, you remember the ayat, ولم تجد ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا. So he made qiyas, he made a comparison. Okay, how do we clean ourselves with water? Is by pouring the water. So so he just like rubbed himself, his body on the surface of the soil, and then when he told the Prophet, he was like, no, this is not how to do it. So when the Prophet showed him how to do it, he said, إِنَّمَا كَانَ يَكْفِيكَ هَكَذَا, it's enough for you to do this. Then what did he do? وَضَرَبَ بِكَفَّيْهِ الْأَرْضَ, he placed his hands on the surface of the soil. وَنَفَخَ فِيهِمَا, he blew on them in order to remove all the suspended particles. وَجَهَ وَمَسَحَ بِهِمَا ثُمَّ مَسَحَ بِهِمَا وَجَهَهُ, and then he rubbed his face with the hands, with the two hands. وَكَفَّيْهِ, and then with the hands to the wrist region. So we do not include the forearm. So this concept of the forearm, we start with the forearm. It's in the views of some fiqh scholars that even there is a hadith Abdullah ibn Umar, which the hadith is da'if though, that التيمم ضربتين, that you do two times, ضربة بالوجه وضربة باليدين إلى المرافق, but it's da'if. So that's why the most acceptable form is the face and then washing to the wrist region, not to the elbow region, not to the elbow region. Because of this hadith. So this is the format. This is asahul كيفية للتيمم. And yeah, so this is نواقض التيمم. نواقض التيمم. In نواقض التيمم, we're going to discuss like what are the things that make us, like what are the things that make us lose our tayammum. What are the things that when we do them, it happens like then our tayammum is now considered invalid, the invalidators of dry cleaning. ينتقل التيمم. The dry cleaning or a tayammum is invalidated بكل ما ينتقل به الوضوء, with anything that invalidates the wudu. So anything that we know when it happens to us, we lose our wudu. Our wudu is invalidated. That thing also invalidates our tayammum. إلا أنه يزاد عليه وجود الماء. إلا أنه, except that in this case, in the case of tayammum, يزاد عليه, there is an addition on it. What is the addition? وجود الماء, the availability of water. لمن فقده, for a person that lack it. Because one of the conditions of performing a tayammum is if we lack water. So anything that invalidates al-wudu also invalidates a tayammum. But in the case of tayammum, if we have water, then the tayammum is also invalidated. The tayammum is invalidated. وَالْقُدْرَةُ, this is the second condition, وَالْقُدْرَةُ عَلَى اسْتِعْمَالِهِ, and the capability or ability to use the water. Because usually we only perform tayammum in two cases: in the فقدان الماء, if we lack water, أو in the العجز على استعمال الماء, or if we cannot use the water. So now if we got the water, or we got the ability to use the water, then the tayammum is also invalidated. Now we cannot do it, or we don't have it. وَمَا قَدْ صَلَّى بِهِ مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ, whatever we have prayed with tayammum in salat, like whatever salat we have prayed using dry cleaning, قَبْلَ وُجُودِ الْمَاء, before we get the water, فَصَحِيحٌ, that one is valid. Like whatever prayer we prayed when we couldn't use the water, or when we couldn't get the water, that salat is valid. لا تلزمه الإعادة. It's not necessary, it's not compulsory on anyone to repeat it. You don't need to repeat it. Because at that very moment, that is your part, using tayammum and then the salat. Lakin, but, لو وجد الماء, if a person finds the water, وهو في الصلاة, while he is currently praying, بطل التيمم, then the dry cleaning or the tayammum is invalidated. We are going to discuss one of these cases. There are some cases that I see which I have written. This is one of it. This is one view among the two views of the nawaqid tayammum, that if a person is praying, like the people that are praying now, let's say we are currently praying using tayammum, and then we heard the water is dropping. This is the case he's taking. So while you are praying, then they say, okay, now the tayammum is invalidated. You have to stop that salat and then go back and do the wudu and then come back to repeat the salat from the beginning. So this is one of the two views. But the other view, let's just discuss it. The other view says that no, you cannot do it because Allah told us not to spoil your good deeds. And why would he go and do ablution? Because when you look at his steps or her steps, the first step is that it's time for prayer, and you couldn't find water at that very moment. What you could do at that moment, what is compulsory on you, is a tayammum, and the person did tayammum. Then they said, now he finished the condition. Now he starts the salah. That phase, the phase of a tayammum is already gone. It's already passed, and now they start the salah. So when they start the salah, even if the water comes, it's like, no, they already did what the best they could have done to permit themselves or to allow themselves to go to salat. Now it's gone. So you cannot ask them to spoil their salat because of something that they rightly did. Had it been they wrongly did it, Okay, no, but they rightly did it. Why did they rightly do it? Number one, because there was no water then. Number two, they performed the Tayammum, which was their fard at that time. So now during the Salat, you cannot tell them that they should come and then do it again. So this is the other, because there are three cases of this. First, if a person gets the water before they start the Salat. Let's say now we are going to pray Asr and there was no water, we all perform Tayammum. But before Iqamah, then the water comes. Say, okay, now we have not started the second fard. So we are still on this. So now all of us have to repeat our ablution. This is generally accepted among Islamic scholars. And the second case is a case in which you performed it and then you start the Salat. You start the Salat. Then, just like this case. So in this case, there are two views. Some they say you have to go back because you have not finished the Salat. And some say no, he doesn't have to, like I just told you. And the third case is a case in which you perform Tayammum, you did the Salat, you finished. But it's within the time. Let's say, for example, everybody can pray Asr at this time, but we already prayed. So let's say we prayed with Tayammum, and now it's still within the time of Asr, and we got water. So also in this case, there is a scholar that say, okay, now it's within the time, so we must go back and do it. But majority of the saying, which is Asahil Qawl, is that no, we don't go back for it, because that was our part at that time. That was our necessity, and that's what we could do, and we did it. So you can't tell that now that they got the water, they have to go back. So these are the three cases, but generally, the first case is more generally accepted, that before the start of the Salat, if you get the water, you should go and perform ablution. In the midst of the prayer, this one, there are two strong views generally, because either you stop the Salat and go back, or you continue. However, when you look at it very critically, the scholars that gave a reasoning that he already passed the work. To spoil his Salat for something that he has passed. So this is the second case. And the third case is during the time, like it's within the time. If it's within the time also, after you finish, the most acceptable form is that it's passed, you can do it, because there is hadith Sa'id al-Khudri, in which there are two persons that they were traveling and they couldn't get water, they performed a Tayammum. When they performed Tayammum, they prayed. So after they prayed, now they were some time later, before the ending of the Salat period, they got water. One of them said, okay, I will repeat the ablution. One of them said, no, I will not repeat, because that was my ruling then. So one person repeated the ablution and repeated the Salat, while the other, he didn't. And they both told the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ said that, say to the person that do not repeat the Salat and the wudu, he said, okay, asabta sunnah, you are right. Asabta sunnah, you did the right thing. And the second, he said, laka ajarain. He said, okay, now you have two rewards. So it's like the Prophet ﷺ confirmed for the two. So they say, if after the Salat and within the time of the Salat, a person has option. If you perform ablution or repeat, okay, it's good, laka ajarain. If you do not, you are also on the right path. Wallahu a'lam. So, but in this case, when you look at the book, he goes with the view that if you find water, وَهُوَ فِي الصَّلَاةِ بَطَلَ التَّيَمُّمُ. So this is one of the views that he takes as the view that is most acceptable for him. فوائد, some benefits. يشرع التيمم لعجل الصلاة. We can perform a tayammum لعجل الصلاة for prayer, والطواف for tawaf, وقراءة القرآن, and even قراءة القرآن, وغير ذلك, and many more. مما يشرع له الوضوء, of all the things that we are asked to perform ablution before we do them. So like as it has been said earlier, it's badalun lil wudu. It's a replacement. Anything that you can do with ablution, in the absence of water, you can do with tayammum. Wal ghuslu, and also spiritual bath. ما دام وجود الماء أو استعماله متعذرا. So long the availability of water or the ability to use water is still under an excuse. If you still cannot find the water, or if you still cannot use the water, so anything that we can use ablution for, we can use tayammum to do the same thing. Second, you see, yustabahu bihi ma yustabahu bilwudu'i. It is allowed with it, with the tayammum. Ma yustabahu bilwudu'i. Whatever is allowed with al-wudu. Anything that is allowed with an al-wudu, it's also allowed with a tayammum. وَيَبَقَى بَعْدَ الْوَقْتِ. And it stays, it's valid even after the time of the praise that you do it. Let's say now I do tayammum because there is another unpopular opinion. Let's say some scholars, they are going by the view that if I perform tayammum and pray asr, as soon as I finish the prayer, then the tayammum is also gone. Now the next salat, maghrib for example, I have to search for water as well. I have to make effort to search for the water. If I cannot find it, okay, then I have to repeat another tayammum. Or if it's my excuse is that I'm sick, I cannot use the water, then I have to make sure that my body, the state of my body at that time, cannot use the water as well. So that is when I can say, okay, now I can repeat the tayammum. So they go by the view that every time you use dry cleaning, if you pray, then that chapter is over. Now in the next chapter, we have to satisfy these two conditions. فقدان الماء والعجز عن استعمال الماء. We lack the water and we cannot use the water. If we satisfy one of these two conditions, then we can perform the tayammum again. But many scholars go by the view that وَيَبَقَى بَعْدَ الْوَقْتِ. It still stays. What breaks it is if you find the water. So if I do tayammum, it's there. I can use it. Now, what should come next is if the condition for me to perform tayammum is broken, then now I can say, okay, fine. Now I have to use ablution. So if you find the water, or if you've got an ability to use the water, now the tayammum is gone, not by any timing. وَيُصَلِّي بِهِ, and you will pray with it. If I do tayammum and pray asr, okay, and during maghrib, I can also use the same tayammum and pray maghrib, contrary to the other view that we have just mentioned. مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ مُنْتَقِدًا, so long it has not broken. So long it has not broken. And what breaks tayammum is anything that breaks wudu, in addition to finding water and ability to use the water. ما يصلى بالوضوء من فريضة, yes, ويصلي به, and you can pray with it. ما لم يكن منتقدا, so long it has not broken. ما يصلى بالوضوء, whatever salat you can perform with wudu, من فريضة, from the salat al-fard, the compulsory prayer, ونافلة, and voluntary prayer, على الإطلاق, generally, like according to the general view of scholars. So this statement is generally to dispute the other view that after every salat you have to search for water. If you can't find it, then you have to repeat the tayammum again. This is the dispute, which is the best view. Wallahu a'lam. The third is a يجوز التيمم إدراكا للصلاة عند خوف خروج الوقت. يجوز التيمم, it's permissible to perform tayammum إدراكا للصلاة, in order to get or to obtain salat عند خوف خروج الوقت, if you are scared of missing the salat on time. So in this case, he said, if the water is there, you can also use the water but maybe it takes maybe 2 minutes to sunset, for example. And when it's sunset, the time for Asr is gone. So in that case, even if you have the water, you have the ability to use the water, you can do Tayammum and then pray Asr. So you see, you have everything, but now you are scared of missing the time. When you say you perform ablution, maybe it may take a long time. So in order to save time, then you can perform Tayammum and then pray, because we know that if you get ruku, it's like you get the salah. So if you get ruku before the sunset, you already get the salat on time. So this is the view. This is also another conflicting view. Some scholars, they go against, contrary to this, that you cannot perform Tayammum just because you are scared of the time. And why? They say it's clear. وَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً. If you don't get water, it's very clear from the saying. Even Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even where is the place? وإن كنتم مرضى ويسبرون أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماءً. So it's very clear. Allah says فلم تجدوا ماءً. Now you have the water. Yes? Then why would you perform Tayammum just because you are scared of the time? They said no, you cannot do that. You know, when you are reading books, sometimes it's like argument these scholars they are giving, and then the scholars that say that no, you can still use it, they reply by, okay, why in the first place are we asked to do the Tayammum? Is it not to get things on time? Because فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً, and you do not get water, فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. Okay, fine, let's see. Now, maybe I have any of the hadath and I do not get water. If I do not get water, if the time is not important, why can't I wait until I get the water, then I do the ibadat? You see, actually, the tayammum or the dry cleaning is even allowed in order to get things on time. So in this case, it's still permissible to do tayammum when you are scared of the time, because even وَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً وَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا, if you don't get the water, we are asked to do that because we need to get things done on time. So that's why generally it's accepted by many scholars that if you are scared of losing the timing, then you can perform a tayammum as he specifically mentioned it here. And yes, he even, when you look below, he says, هذه المسألة اختلف فيها العلماء. This case, there are disagreement over it. والذي أراه زيادة هامة. He said, what I think is important, والله أعلم, إذا كنت في سيارة, if you are inside a car, أو ما يشبهها, or anything that is similar, any form of transport, ولم يمكن لك النزول, and you cannot come down إلا بعد خروج الوقت, except if the time is over, فإنك حينئذ تصلى بالتيمم. So in that instance, you can perform your salat with tayammum. So you see, you now give a specific case in which you don't have the ability to reach the water without using the time. So in that case, you can use the tayammum. أرجو أن يكون مثل هذا من الأعذار المقبولة. I say I hope, because you say أرجو أن يكون هذا مثل هذا من أعذار المقبولة. I hope this will be one of the excuses that can be accepted. This is one of the acceptable excuses. أما بسبب كسل أو تكسل فلا. But if it's just because like you are busy or you are just takassuling, you don't want to go and do it fast, like you are just sitting, then the time is elapsing, and now you be quick, like you want to do tayammum and go, you see, no for that. But it's a situation in which you cannot get the ablution done on time. So in this case, the istida'a is not there. مَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِهِ فَأَتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Okay, if the istida'a is here, what is your best form to get the salat on time is to use tayammum. If you can do that, if that is your best form, okay, then you can do the tayammum. And then what is your best form to do the salat on time? You can still perform ablution. Okay, then you have to perform ablution. You say, وَأَمَّا بِنَوْمٍ أَوْ نِسْيَانٍ فَبِذَلِكَ يُشْرَعُ. But in the case, even they discuss if somebody like overslept, when you slept and you wake up late, the time is about to elapse. Before you finish ablution, the time will elapse. Are you allowed to perform tayammum to do the salat on time? They said in the case of nisyan or tayammum or nawmi, this is a special case because wal-qada wal-ikra wal-nisyan wasqadahu ma'budun ar-rahman. If you are forced into something, or you're mistaken into something, or you forgot something, or even if you sleep over something during the process of these things, that ruling is not on you. So if I'm sleeping now, I wake up. من نام عن الصلاة أو نسي عنها فليصليها إذا ذكرها فذكر وتعالى. If you sleep or you forgot and you remember, then that is your timing. So in this case, there is no need to rush to go for tayammum because you were sleeping, and when you were sleeping, that ruling, the timing for that salah does not apply to you at that very instance. Why? Because you are sleeping or you forgot. So as soon as you wake up, you must follow the normal procedure of making an ablution and performing the salat. So this is the case. So generally in this case, we can say that number one, if you find yourself in a difficult situation that you cannot perform ablution, but if you perform tayammum, you will get the salat on time, then you can do it. If it's as a result of you are just sitting, doing nothing, and you come late, the time is about to elapse, then you are not permitted to use that. You have to follow the normal process. That punishment is left between you and Allah. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. That is a different case. And the third case, if you have any acceptable excuse of delaying the salat, sleeping, or you forget, or something that is beyond your control, one of the excuses, acceptable excuses, then in this case, that rule in that timing does not apply to you. The moment you get al-qudra, that is when the timings that apply to you. In that case, you have to follow the normal procedure of ablution and then performing the salat. Wallahu a'lam. The fourth one is إِذَا كَانَ مَعَكَ مِقْدَارُ مَاءٍ لِلْوُضُوءِ. إِذَا كَانَ مَعَكَ, if you have مِقْدَارُ مَاءٍ, some water, لِلْوُضُوءِ, for ablution, أو الغسل, or bath, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ مَعَكَ إِلَّا ذَلِكَ, and you don't have any except that water. وَفِي الْوَقَتِ نَفْسِهِ, and it's already time for the prayer. وَفِي الْوَقَتِ نَفْسِهِ عَفْوًا وَفِي الْوَقَتِ نَفْسِهِ, and at that very time, أَنْتَ تَحْتَاجُ إِلَى الْمَاءِ, you need the water. So you have some water and you don't have any other water except that water, and at that very time you need the water for something very important, either for drinking or you go to the bathroom or things like this. You need the water at that time, and you know you will not get another water. إِمَّا لِشُرْبٍ, yes, أَنْتَ تَحْتَاجُ إِلَى الْمَاءِ, you need the water إِمَّا لِشُرْبٍ, either for drinking, أو طبخ طعام, or you need it to cook your food, أو إزالة نجاسة, or you need it to clean dirt, وخفت على نفسك, and you are scared on yourself that إذا استعملته, if you use that water للطهور, for ablution, فحينئذ يجوز لك التيمم. So in that case, you can perform tayammum. So generally you have the water, but it's too few, it's too little. and you need it for other things, either for drinking or for cooking or for cleaning some dirt, some najasa or any other thing. So at that moment, you can keep the water for other thing and then you can perform a tayammum. يجوز التيمم لغسل الميت. It's also permissible to perform tayammum لغسل الميت for washing dead body كالحي, just like a living person in the فقدان الماء when there is no water. So when we don't have water and the person died, we need to bury them, then we can perform a tayammum for them. So this is because there are some of the things, like there is this a person who has injury, a person who is injured, like al-jirah. How could that person do? There are also two views in that case. They say some scholars, which is the unpopular opinion, they say if a person has injury, he will now use water on the part that is healthy and use tayammum on the part that is injured. So it's like mixing the two forms of tahara, al-wudu or al-ghusl or tayammum. But this view is unpopular and unacceptable opinion because there is no proof for this, where if someone is sick or if someone is having an issue, that they can mix it, use water for the healthy part of the body and use tayammum for the injured part of the body. The most acceptable view is that view of the Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik. They said that now we consider if major part of the body is healthy. Let's say somebody maybe unfortunately go for a fire accident or things like that. Then we should consider if major part of the body is healthy, then they should use water on the healthy part and ignore the injured part. You don't need to do any tayammum because there is no ruling for using tayammum in that case. And if the major part of the body is injured, then in that case you ignore the water and you perform tayammum. So there is no need for mixing water and tayammum at the same time. So this is the case of al-jirah, which is the most acceptable one. And then there is also a case they discuss if, for example, there are like a group of people are traveling or they are living together and they have very few water and they all like that water is very few and they are in a condition that they need to clean themselves. They will give an example, a case, let's say one person died, there is a dead body, and one person has janaba, let's say another one has haida, another one has najasat. So who should use the water on the other part? Like there's a dead body, someone has janaba, someone has haid, and someone has najasa, someone has like najasa at that. So who is in better position to use the water?
I think the haid.
You think the haid?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the hadith al-akbar like janaba or it can be the haid or the dead body.
It can be the haid.
But the dead body, I mean, we mentioned in the Ders that for the dead body you can do tayammum for them.
You can?
Tayammum.
Yeah, we can do tayammum for the dead body.
But
yes.
for the haid, we didn't mention anything about the haid in the lesson.
Okay.
So this is what I think. For hadith al-akbar, for example, janaba, and hadith al-asghar like najasa, they can also do tayammum to, for example, to do prayer or something like this.
Okay. Yes. In each case we can do. In all the cases we can do tayammum. Yes. So in this case we are thinking, okay, so which one should be given preference? Which one should use the water? Who is in better position to use the water? So I tell the person who has haid, you said, yeah? Okay. This is the third view. Yes. This is one of the views of the scholars, which is the third level view.
I've lived the dead body.
The dead body. Okay.
Hayd and janaba.
Hayd and janaba. Okay, so this the dead body is the first generally acceptable view, and then followed by the hayd and janaba, and then followed by the hayd alone, and then
I think if the water is very small, all are permitted to do tayammum.
all of them. So they should just
Save the water for another use.
for another
drinking
use.
and-
Okay, so this is a different opinion that I've not seen any scholar talk about. You are the first one. Yeah, you are the first one. Sheikh Muhammad.
With the dead body.
For the dead body as well. So yes, they generally go for the dead body as well because they say at least a dead person, this is his final moment.
It's an honor.
Yes, it's an honor. And he will not use water again, at least in the world. Maybe inshallah in Jannah, yes. So he will not use water again. And the main purpose of the washing the body is to clean it of all form of qadra, and they need it, he is going to be buried. So they say, majority of them, they go by the view that it's better for dead person or to wash the dead body than all others. Because the others, they have an excuse that they can do tayammum and they can get the water later to use. So this is one. And the second is the one with al-hayd, of course, and then al-janaba, because both of them, it's compulsory for a shower. And with the case of al-hayd in particular, they also need to wash away the part of the blood and what have you. And then they go for najasat also, because for najasat it's clear, it's dirt, so he also needs to wash it. So that's how it's arranged based on preference. So it's arranged based on the order of who needed the most, and then the others can perform ablution. Can perform tayammum. And yes, I think these are the main things. All other ones we already discussed them inside. So we bring this at the debate. He said, Mal aya wal hadith alladhani yadullani ala mashru'iyyati tayammum. Al aya wal hadith. Sheikh Said is.
إذا قمت إلى الصلاة
Yes, everybody is looking at you.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة. That's the ayah.
That's the ayah. But you didn't mention him, you didn't hear him.
إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين إن كنتم جنبا فطهروا إن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء
فتيمموا سعيدا طيبا. Yes. متى يشرع التيمم؟
عند الانقطاع.
عند
انقطاع الماء.
عند انقطاع الماء.
أو المريض.
أو تعذر
أو المريض.
أو تعذر. Yes. Don't, if you restrict it to مريض, so
inability to use water.
Yeah, inability to use water, which can be as a result of al-bard, it can be as a result of extreme cold, it can be as a result of marid, sickness, or any other thing. So these are the two things: lack of water and an excuse to use water. اذكر الحديث الدال على كيفية التيمم. الحديث الذي دال على
إن الصعيد الطيب طهور إن الصعيد الطيب طهور
كيفية الدالة على كيفية.
The way you do it.
كيفية التيمم. The hadith that is showing how. The one that describes how.
The understood.
Yes. To perform the tayammum.
النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عمار بن ياسر حينما أساء التيمم he said إنما يكفيك هكذا.
Yes.
Show him how to do the tayammum in the right way.
Yes.
وضرب بكفيه على الأرض كفيه الأرض ونفخ فيهما ثم مسح بهما وجهه وكفيه.
هل كل ما ينقض الوضوء ينقض التيمم؟
نعم مع الزيادة.
مع الزيادة.
نعم.
ما الزيادتان؟
وجود الماء، توفر ماء، وإبطال التعذر.
وإبطال التعذر. هذا جيد. بارك الله فينا كلنا. So like in summary, this section at Tayammum, it just means using the surface of a soil to perform dry cleaning or to clean ourselves. And that surface can be sand, it can be gravel, it can be soil, it can be rock. These are the generally acceptable four surfaces that we can use. Anything that we can use ablution for, we can use Tayammum for. Anything. And there are two instances that we are allowed to do that, which as you all have mentioned, lack of water and the inability to use the water.
What if a person, it's not a part of or a question from the tadribat, but I want to add it. What if a person lives in a cold country and it's snowy? Can he use the snow as Sa'id Tayyib?
Normally, with the snow, if it's to the best of my knowledge, for the snow we need to leave it to melt, but if it cannot melt, then you have yourself in two situations. Number one, you don't have the water, and number two, you don't have the sand. So this goes to the third discussion made by the scholars, that if you can't have the surface for Tayammum and you don't have the water, and now the time is going, now your istida'a is to perform prayer without either of the two. Without the water and without the Tayammum, because that is the istida'a. Because I don't have strong fatwa on like using the ice for Tayammum for this one. I don't have that one. That's to the best of my knowledge of Allah. But I don't know if there is any strong fatwa regarding that.
Yeah. So when looking for sand, are you looking for particular sand, or you can use anywhere where they walk?
Yeah, any sand, but make sure there is no najasa, there is no dirt on the sand.
You can use the roads.
Yeah, like this one that we are working. Yes, you can use it.
You don't have to look for nowhere there.
Well, like logically, you can use logically. Okay, let me look at the cleanest surface. That is logically, but according to the hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that all sand is there for us as a cleaning tool, and is also clean for us. It's just like if we come here, everybody is marching on this. But if we come here, we do not get the match, we all pray there. We all pray there. So that is generally. But logically, you can feel, okay, if I can get a better clean place, yes. Yeah, it would be better and good.
But it's better to use turab or ramal if I have different situation or different separate choice. It's better to use turab, yeah?
Yes, so in this case, now, even though there is no known to the best of my knowledge also hadith which gives a preference of what to use. Either we should go, if you have sand or this, okay, it's better to go for this. Because when you look at it generally, all these surfaces that we use for Tayammum, it does not literally clean. Literally, like if you use the sand, you put it, the sand do not literally clean anything from your face. The same thing when you use the rock, it does not literally clean anything. So based on their actual functionality, there is no preference over anything. So whichever you use, because I don't know any hadith which says prefer this or this. It's just on the availability of what you have at the time, and if you have options, you can use any of those ones. There's no preference of using one or another. Allahu A'lam.
There's two questions now, Ahmed.
Yes.
Is it better to pray without Tayammum or to use something else as something like Torah for the Tayammum?
Like Torah?
Yeah. Like
if you mentioned Torah, we
didn't. In a form of like if it's cold enough and it's snow, like can you use something in the house?
Like what?
Let's say wood.
Like really, I don't want to invent anything I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, I don't know. I don't want to comment on it.
So what if, let's say, I have a plant in my house and it's snowy outside and I don't have water in my house? Can I use the sand of the
it's
plant?
a sand, yes, you can.
I can put some on the ground and use it for
yes,
them?
Yes, you can use it. You can use it. It's a sand, you can use it. Or it's a clay, you can use it. can use the sand very clean. But like to the best of my knowledge, these are the 3 levels. We have water, we use water. We don't have water, we use the surfaces. We don't have water and the surfaces, then the time is going, then we do the salat without any of those. These are the 3 levels I know. Allahu Akbar. But inshallah, maybe you will find out by next week, perhaps. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. Anything that is correct is from Allah, anything that is wrong is from me.